So the call for cooperation. Let's get more on the details on the speech from the throne and the government's approach, and we'll also hear from the opposition parties coming up. But first, the government side. I spoke with the government House Leader on Parliament Hill today after the speech. And we'll have to, Pablo Rodríguez, good to see you. The man will have to shepherd this speech from the throne through and try to build consensus with opposition parties for this government agenda, although we don't have all the details. So tell me how you do that. We've already heard from the Bloc. They'll support the speech from the throne. But what's your plan to try and get agreement from other parties that you need to be able to push forward your agenda, the agenda outlined here?
By talking to each other, by having an open door. I already met with the House leaders 2 days ago, each of them in a private meeting. Right away, I gave him my cell phone and I told him, I'm there anytime you want to talk, you call me, whatever, and my door is always open. So that's one way to do it. The other way is to offer also a throne speech that is there for Canadians, that sets our priorities and things that can be supported by different parties.
We've already heard from Andrew Scheer saying he thinks it's insulting to the West, and Alberta and Saskatchewan weren't mentioned by name in the speech from the throne. They're going through tough economic times, as you know. What's the plan to try and bring to try and deal with the problems?
We're extremely aware of the difficult situation in those provinces, but we were not aiming provinces. We're talking about the country, about the importance of uniting the country. We understand very well the struggles lived there. Actually, that's the reason why the Chrystia Freeland, the intergovernmental minister, went there on her first trip. She went to Alberta right away. We have Jim Carr, and actually I would say that we have the whole government working on that issue. All provinces, all regions are important for us.
For Mr. Singh says you haven't said enough and given enough detail, enough commitment to a universal single-payer pharmacare plan. We're going to hear from him coming up in just a few moments, but he says he wants to be able to sit down with the Prime Minister and see if he can get commitments beyond what are in the throne speech. What about that process? Well, he doesn't get an amendment because he's the third opposition party, so he doesn't have the chance to propose.
So the Conservatives will have an amendment. The Bloc Québécois will have a sub-amendment. If they want, they probably will. It's a tradition.
Sure.
I mean, the throne speech, as you know, is like a general plan. It gives us general directions where we're going. There's no, I don't think any secret there. It's pretty much things that we said during the electoral campaign that we'd put in paper. We're committed to that, and we're open also to ideas from other parties. We said it in the throne speech. You know, all parties can bring good ideas. We're ready to listen and work together.
What is the plan for pharmacare?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. The thing is that we have to do it in collaboration with provinces. That's for sure.
Right, but you know what the NDP wants? They want a national, universal, single-payer
pharmacare.
Is that when your government talks about national pharmacare? Is that it, or is it covering people who don't have coverage now?
No, but the thing is that it's different from province to province. For example, Quebec. I'm from Quebec. We have a pretty full, complete.
And Quebec's already said it would opt out of any national pharmacare plan.
They probably would.
Funding for it.
Following discussion, we would have to have those discussions with them first, but we have to sit down with provinces and set objectives and see how we can do this together, because the only way to do that is with provinces working together.
Right. So if he says he's insisting for any kind of support on a universal, single-payer national pharmacare plan, what do you think of that? Do you think
we'll listen, we'll sit down with him, and the Prime Minister is quite open to discuss with everybody, but we'll see what's feasible and we'll see what's possible with the provinces.
So when you talk about your plan to move the agenda forward, you're trying to reach out to all the parties, but really, is it more tactical than that? Finding a single party on an issue where you think you can find agreement, because that's what you need.
Well, it's going to be issue by issue, and we said that from the start. I said it from day one, since the first day of my nomination, and we'll sit down whoever wants to discuss all of these issues. So, for example, it's clear, as you see, that fighting climate change is a priority for us, so I can see us very well discussing with either the Bloc or the NDP to find common grounds. Tax reduction for the middle class, maybe we can find an agreement with the Conservatives. We'll see. I'll sit down with all of them.
How do you think it is likely that you'll find a partnership with the Conservatives?
Well, we'll never know. I'm a believer. And we never know. Hey, well, I'm there to discuss with them. We had an excellent discussion with their House Leader, with Candice, and there may be things we can do together.
All right. Tell me about part of the speech today. There was a fair bit of time spent on the idea of consensus and raising the bar in politics. How do you see your role in that?
You have to. My role is as a representative from the government, as a person that will be negotiating quite often on behalf of the government with my counterparts from other parties. I think that we're off to a good start, good conversations. the fact that I've been here a little while, I have a few gray hair, and I know some of them, I've been known for them for a while, that could help sometime too.
All right, Pablo Rodríguez, thanks for your time.
Thank you very
Good to
much.
speak with you.
Thank you
Take
for
care.
having me.